So hello everybody. We just want to give you guys a quick update of where we're at in the ministry that we've been a part of this last month, helping refugees from Ukraine. And we want to let you guys know how much you've been a part of that, how much we couldn't do that without you, and just how much your gifts, your financial support has helped and blessed literally so many people. So for starters, we made a list of some things that we were able to do as a result of the support that you guys have sent over. First of all, as you know, we took 2 large cargo vans to the border the first week, plus a passenger van. And in that trip, we literally had hundreds and hundreds of mattresses, air mattresses, camping mattresses, brand new mattresses, you name it. We filled it with blankets, hundreds of blankets, hundreds of sleeping bags, supplies for kids and babies, so diapers, wipes, shoes, baby food, bottles, all kinds of things. All of that we were able to purchase because of your guys' donations. So thank you so much for that. As well, a lot of people coming to, as refugees leaving the Ukraine, were leaving in the winter and now we're coming into the spring season. So they could only carry 1 bag and they packed winter clothes. So even things like boots, they're walking around now. Today it's 15 degrees outside Celsius, and they're walking around in winter boots. So as a result of your donations, we were able to purchase clothes and shoes, spring shoes, running shoes, spring coats, different things for people so that they could settle here seasonally as they're here a little more long term. Also accommodation for people. We have a family currently, a mother with 3 children who's living at our ministry center. So we're able to pay the rent there, and we're also able to outfit the center with bedding. We purchased a new pull-out couch that they could sleep on, so they love living there. They've told us it's really comfortable. So thank you guys so much for that. Groceries for families. So when families come, obviously, you know, those first couple days are disoriented. They don't know anything about where they are. So getting them some food for those initial few days so they have something to eat in the morning when they wake up, things they're not even thinking of because they just left their home in their country, the only home maybe they've ever known. As well, travel expenses for 4 weeks. So we've been sending convoys down there, van convoys, bringing people back from the border. To date, we've helped 38 people as a result of your guys' donations. 38 people have come either to Yelhava or we've helped them move on and resettle in Prague or other places. So we would not have been able to do any of that if it wasn't for you.
Okay, so as you maybe remember, when we first started this, we were responding to basically an emergency call for help from a friend of ours who lives in Ukraine, her and her husband there. And so our response at the beginning was based on the shock and the extreme need on the onset of war. Now, as you can imagine, the situation is fluid. It constantly changes. There's new needs, different needs, even as Jody mentioned about the winter clothes, people coming in heavy winter clothing. Now they need spring clothing. So things change quite often, and what we're really beginning to see is as the number of refugees in our city grows, their needs, and specifically their needs to be settled into a community, to feel safe, secure, connected, loved, cared for. It's really important. And so that is something that we've recently felt the need to make sure that we're doing and doing well. So for example, last Sunday at our church, we had 21 Ukrainians, and really now at our church, it's standing room only. And as more and more come and settle here and become part specifically of our church community and our fusion community, which is our outreach to young people, they're really enjoying it and inviting more people into the community. So week by week, we are seeing exponential growth. And there's a lot of need that represents for those people to look after them. So helping these refugees as they come, one of the things that you need is work. You to have aimless, empty hands and just sit around not knowing what to do to yourself and feeling a lack of purpose can be really difficult. So one thing that some of the refugees that are living in our community will be starting, we'll be working together with them to do, is organize a secondhand store for the women and children that are here. especially as the weather changes and they just don't have enough clothes, they don't have enough shoes. So we will be organizing with them a refugee store. So we'll look after the Czech side, getting donations, and they will be continuing to spread the information around their Ukrainian contacts in our city, to invite people to be able to make use of the things that are donated to the secondhand store. So as you can imagine, it's a lot of work, not just for us as a couple, for our kids, for our pastor, his wife, for the other families at our church. There's a lot more work and responsibilities in that, organizing, coordinating, just for the refugees that are present here, getting them settled. So your prayers for that would be really appreciated, for wisdom, energy, strength, creativity, and really just being able to do that and look after them well, so they feel secure, and that most of all, yes, that their practical needs are met, but that through it all, through everything, they're experiencing the love of Christ, and they are hearing the gospel, so that they will connect the love that they're experiencing with what they're hearing about who our God is that we serve.
So where do we go from here? We want to continue the border runs as long as there's a need to continue the border runs. So we were just there yesterday. In the morning before we got to the border, we were praying that we would be God's answer to someone's prayer. That literally someone would be praying, like, what do I do? Where do I go? And in that moment, God would use us. And that's exactly what happened. We brought a mother with 4 children back from the border to Czech Republic, where we're going to be able to provide housing, and even in this case, employment for the young boy. He's 17, just young enough to get out of the country, so he didn't have to stay and fight. So we definitely want to continue those border runs as long as there's a need for them. As well, our friend Dow Warner, who is a friend, a mentor, a pastor, he has a doctor and a nurse from America who both want to come and help at the border. And we saw yesterday in Poland, there's a great need for that. We spoke with a doctor volunteer from America who told us there's a great need for doctors to volunteer to help. So they might come for a week, up to 3 weeks, or even a month. So we're going to help get them situated. If they come, it could be as early as next week. We want to help get them settled at the border. And then, if Lord willing, bring some people back with us when we're there, provided that we have the housing for them or they have a place to stay once they're back. We also would love, we've had several people from North America reach out and say, hey, how can I help? Is there a need for me to help? And we would love to set up and facilitate people from back home coming to Czech Republic to either serve here in Jihlava, helping with the refugees resettle, or we can get you to the border, or a bit of both, where you're serving at the border maybe for a season and coming back. So if anybody is watching this, that's something they're interested in, please reach out to us. We would love to maybe try and connect you with people where you can serve, or again, you can serve here in our community. Yeah. So as the needs continue to grow, the refugee community continues to grow here. Obviously, like Rachel mentioned, it's fluid, it's changing, and we want to be flexible with that, but continue to say, okay, God, where do you want us? How can we best serve the needs of the people? And that's what we're looking to do.
So continuing on the idea of where we go from here, many of you maybe have heard earlier newsletters or videos that in praying earlier this year about what God had for us, we really felt strongly that this was the year that God would have us open a coffee shop as a connection point with our community here. And at the time we thought, okay, we have no means for this. This will be interesting. And over the last 3 months, it's really been amazing to see support come in for that, to see the doors open. And when we were signing the lease at the location where the coffee shop will be, it was just at the time that we were starting these border runs and doing this refugee outreach. And we thought, okay, God, do you realize that how does this work together, starting a coffee shop and being very busy with this refugee work? And we really had to come to terms with, like, well, we don't have all the answers, but we're sure that God is calling us to this at this point in time. Now, the more we've talked and we've prayed about it, talked with those in our community as well, we really see just God's hand in the timing, actually, because as the refugees come, we see that they need work, that they, as we mentioned before already in this video, they need purpose, they need things to put their hands to. Maybe they need work experience, they need a first job, they need a reference. And so we are continuing to open the coffee shop, to work towards opening it. And we're just taking a bit of a direction shift so that we will be able to offer employment to refugees that are here. We already have in the family that is staying at our center. It looks like one of them, she's a very talented baker, and we will be able to right at the start offer her job doing the baking for the coffee shop. So this is actually a very practical, continuing a relationship with them. It's a practical way that they can join our community and have purpose and work here, and it helps them in their future, potentially within Europe, or even going back one day to Ukraine. So that's the direction that we're taking with the coffee shop, to offer it as a source of employment and work experience and training for refugees here.
Yeah. So we're really excited about that. We would love for you guys to reach out with any questions that you have for us about that. But it's amazing the timing, how, like Rachel said, we're signing the lease. The war had just started. We're taking these runs to the border, and we're like, God, how does it even matter anymore? Like, who cares about a coffee shop? There's human lives that are in great need right now. And actually, Dow's wife reminded us that, hey, did God call you guys to start this coffee shop? Because this didn't surprise him. He knew this would happen. And as the situation was evolving, our eyes were open to, wow, we can actually, this is something God has placed in our hand. What can you use? What God's put in your hand. And he's put this coffee shop in our hand, and we see it now as a powerful tool where we can use it to provide both employment and training for future employment. So praise God for that. And thank you guys again for your prayers and your support. The need for finances continues as this situation continues to evolve. So one thing I wanted to just end with is talking about the initial shock of war for a lot of us has worn off, especially the further removed you are. So it's a horrible thing. We all agree. Nobody likes to see it, but it's kind of human nature. A month in, and it's become the new norm, unfortunately, for a lot of people who are disconnected from it. But just yesterday, being down at the border, we were at an abandoned Tesco warehouse where more than 1,000 people who have nowhere else to go are sleeping inside on cots, like just jammed together like sardines. They're dealing with all kinds of issues, with gastrointestinal issues, because the hygiene is so poor at this place. They have nowhere to go. There's a lot of volunteers there trying to help the best they can, but there's more people than volunteers, and there's more need than there are people to meet the need right now.
And keep in mind, most of these are women and children, so you can imagine how insecure or scared they may be feeling in those situations.
Absolutely. And so as life goes on, our tendency is to, as humans, just kind of, like I said, that the initial shock is worn off. But for these people, nothing's worn off. Life hasn't gone on. Life has completely paused. In many cases, these people don't even have homes to return to. If the war ended tomorrow, they would be, it would be years, maybe never, before they rebuilt. So some of them, these are permanent upheavals in their lives, and they're going to need help for weeks, months, and even years to come, regardless of what happens with the situation, the war. As we're praying for peace, we hope it does end tomorrow, but we want to be here, be the hands and feet of Jesus for as long as God has us here. So in order to do that, guys, please prayerfully consider continuing to support the ministry. We listed ways in which your finances are going to help the refugees. And for the foreseeable future, that's the way it's going to be. As the situation changes, we'll keep you posted. If something new comes up, a new need, another way in which you can be a part of that. But we just want to say thank you, guys. I know this video is a little long. We're at almost 15 minutes. So God bless you. Thank you for watching it this long. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Message us if you're interested in getting behind the ministry and giving. Please reach out to us, or just contact us on Facebook or Instagram, or however you email, however you want. So yeah.
Thank you, and God bless.
Thanks, guys.